Edie, got a nice little movie for you. Steamboat Bill Jr. Steamboat Bill Jr. This is one of the, well, some people would put this in a lower tiered Buster Keaton level. It's not up there with the General, I would say. It's not up there with the Navigator or Our Hospitality. Or it's not up there with Sherlock Jr. But any Keaton is worth its salt. Steamboat Bill Jr. It's co-directed. Keaton, of course, was the man really calling the shots, but Charles Reasoner was the director of this film, and really of no other interest except maybe he directed The Big Store for the Marx Brothers, and that really is sort of a pedestrian form of directing that he did, since that was one that was based on a stage play that they were trying to do at that time. So he's a perfect choice for Buster Keaton to work with on a film like this, because he's sort of like an empty cipher, I guess, allowing Keaton to call the shots. This is 1928. This is a year after The General, and it is sort of coming to a period in the close of Keaton's big period. Okay, college is going to be in this time period as well. We're going to later see him go to MGM after he sells his studio off and do something called The Cameraman, and then sort of disappear. Going to get teamed up with people like Jimmy Durante and become sort of second banana, and that's not something that Keaton was used to. Sound did have some problems with Keaton. Now, it's not like he couldn't have adapted to it. He certainly could have. It's just that the studio system didn't really allow him to do that. He became a gag man. He wrote gags for the Three Stooges and folks like that. He worked for a lot of different people. And, well, just kind of languished for a while. Matter of fact, there was a time period where a lot of people might have even thought that he had disappeared, died. Okay? And, of course, he was rediscovered in the 50s. And we see him pop up in a series of interesting films. He ends up in beach party movies. And, of course, Samuel Beckett is going to discover him and write a film, which is basically him on one of those pump cars on the train tracks, doing one of his bits. Of course, he loves trains. Now, this one deals with another vehicle of transportation, the steamboat. And Keaton plays this college kid who comes back after his time in college, sort of, well, Eastern-fied, I guess, if you will. He comes back and finds that his father, who is a steamboat operator, sort of is in bad ways. And certainly little Bill here, Bill Jr., doesn't seem to fit in very well with the kind of the town roughs, if you will, that he has to get along with. And he, of course, has the woman there as his foil again, and it has some great scenes in here. One of the great scenes in this film, a long extended cyclone sequence, where he's in a hospital bed, the cyclone comes through and rips the building off that he's sleeping in and blows his bed all over the place. Matter of fact, there's a great sequence in here, one of the great stunts of all time, where he's standing in the middle of a street and you see a building behind him. The wall collapses and falls onto him, and he's standing right where a window is positioned. Now, I was doing some research on this a little bit ago, and I was reading that over half of the studio set folks, the personnel and the crew, walked out, refused to have any part of that shot because they thought that he was going to get killed. Now, Keaton does those kind of tough stunts, and it works marvels for what we're seeing in this film. Now, again, latter-day Keaton. But a latter-day Keaton is better than a lot of other stuff that you'd be seeing being produced at this same time. Keaton, remarkable, beautiful cinematography. He's the man behind everything, calling all the shots in this wonderful film, Steamboat Bill Jr. Let's roll him, Smokey.